Hello, today we're going to talk about the explosive move on DAX today. It broke a 10th month high, and we are going to discuss how we traded it, how I was able to grab about 19% of profit within 11 minutes. We will also discuss and share, we'll do a recap with our friends in the Discord channel. The members of AIMS, they caught some beautiful trades as well. 3, 4, Doug got 8%. How we got it using the simple method. Why is this method so powerful? We're going to talk about that. And the next thing we're going to talk about is a strategy that we call the H1 M5, how to find trade setups that you can trade on the M5 chart, but only looking at the hourly chart, so your screen time is minimum. So let's begin. Okay, so before we start, I want to show you something. And then after this, I will go and start talking to my buddies for the recap. So yesterday was an interesting day. This is the DAX chart that you see, and this is a strategy that we call the seed method. It's nothing new. It's been there for 8 years in our forum. But here I am marking to, I'm pointing to a signal that was created yesterday, and you would see what happened today. This strong move basically started whatever you see today, the strong move, you know, the price that actually has moved so much that it's created a 10-month high, almost back to where DAX 30 was before the pandemic. We will look at this trade here because we went long on this, and it was about 100 point in profit by the end of the day. But guess where it is today? The other thing that I will talk about is stocks. So we apply our method to the stock, to stocks as well on the daily chart, and this pattern, this setup one pattern, is just so beautiful. It can be applied from a 15-second chart all the way to the weekly and monthly chart, and it works. I will show you some more examples. So here's another stock that we traded from here. This is the setup one pattern. It was a setup one long here, and it's a setup one long here as well. This is the example of going long at this arrow here, and it's still running. We have loads of different trades running, and we'll probably look at that if we get time. So this is the seed strategy long trade that we took yesterday. So if you look at it here, this trade was taken here at using the setup one. We have a wave 3, 4 sleeping gator. So we took one trade here, and the other signal here, this one, which is closed half, to turn it into a free trade, is based on these two seeds. So if you look at it later, this is how it looked like. This is the profits that we had actually banked yesterday from it. But that's that seed that we took, and then we closed half here and let the rest run. So you'll see now in this today's picture, this is pound dollar, and it hit its target point today. It's a massive move. So when it moves 1 hour in our favor, we close half of it, and then we let the rest run. So both those hit their targets. It's a very simple strategy. Well, so this one is still running, the pound yen, because it kind of went down a bit. So this trade was taken based on this cherry signal here, and there was a little rent on this as well, because this seed didn't work, and it went up. One almost hit the target, and the second one is going toward the target there. But before that, we're going to talk about this. This is today's chart. This is today's price action. The market moved, created a seed, created a cherry, and it moved fantastically. There was another seed here as well. This is a very powerful method. If you want to apply it, we've got all the help available here. So now I'm going to go and start the review with my friends at Discord.
Hey, you all right?
Hello, Doug. Hello, Esther. Hello, MH.
Hi.
Hello.
Alina is not here. She's going to be gutted. Right. how's everyone feeling today?
All good.
Of course you are. Of course you are. That is the truth. Okay, let's go live here. So, well, if you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
You sound very down. Yes. Yes, I can see the screen.
I didn't say like that.
I'm just kidding. Well, you said earlier that you were upset or gloomy. You know, when people are
Yes.
upset, as they are trying to settle, they go down and become a little bit gloomy. Like, anyway, I'm not going to ask you why you're upset. It must be trading related, right?
Yes, yes.
Today was a beautiful
Right.
day on DAX 30, so I'm going to talk about the DAX 30 first. We're going to go through the recap. We're going to listen from, we're going to hear from Doug as well, how he felt, and probably Esther as well, if she wants to, if she has the time today. And then we will talk about your dilemma with the H1 M5. So we're going to go through that. And probably if Sam joins in, then probably we'll go and talk about some stocks as well. Right, so today it was, if you saw yesterday's video and the day before, I talked about the importance of those levels and all of that. But of course, those levels are so that the purpose of the levels is that if price is within those levels, then it becomes useful. So these are some levels that I've had for quite a while. They don't represent anything. I'm just going to delete them. So let me just... why is this happening to me all the time? The session breaks. I need the session break. Okay. So that I know this is the midnight. So today DAX presented us with one of the best example of what is a famous setup. So let me just quickly explain what a famous setup is as well. There are videos on the channel already. You can watch them. If you remember, you can go to the forum. There's almost a decade old section called the famous. Now, a setup is a famous only when you look at the hourly chart at Frankfurt Open, like around here, and you see an open gator on the hourly. It's going to be an S2. Now, this doesn't mean that every time you see an S2 like this on any other time frame, you start trading it. So, for example, it said, if you see a chart like this with a setup, let me just go back. This is how it would have looked like, right? It doesn't mean that you just trade any time frame on this. No, there is specific time-based pattern behind this. So you have yesterday's breakout, and the day went very strong bullish. It's strong bullish day. It ended strong. Even during the overnight session, it stayed sideways, which meant there was nothing going against it. The market was all bullish on it. As soon as the market opened the next day, it did not go down at all. It just went up. And that is what famous setup is. So famous means that by the time the second day started, it was famous. It made news that DAX had, well, not everywhere, obviously, but in the trading world, that it's broken. So for example, today it's famous as well, but we don't take the third day famous setups. Like, I'm not going to be interested in it tomorrow. It might even move. So today we would know that it's broken 10 months high, and let's go through that. You can see basically, what is this line? It's actually almost at the, not almost, it's really at the all-time highs. And in 3rd of February was actually the all-time high for DAX. But that, it couldn't sustain that level. It actually went down after that. But today we are seeing that it is right at the all-time high. And another day like this, we will be actually testing this level, which is surely the all-time high. And before we know it, we could be crossing a new level of 14,000. So we'll see how that goes. But obviously the market is bullish, and we knew that. So if you were to draw your lines today, let's go into this mode now. Let me just draw those lines as well, so we can have a little lesson on that. So you have one line there, you have another line here. That's the overnight range, right? So obviously, if you were to draw, let me just make them a little bit thin. Thin line is better, and we will change. Yeah, the color is okay. So remove this. Okay, we have a line here. And after that, you had this line, which was, so this actually is the high of yesterday. Like like I said in my video yesterday, the high and low of yesterday are important. So that's the high. We will mark that as well. Then we can see an obvious level there, which is too far from us, but we'll do it anyway. Because if price is bullish, then that's the level that you're talking about. If price was to come down, then we had this level. So we drew one line there as well. And this is a major level, so we can probably draw another line. Now we don't want to fill our chart with all the lines, right? So hourly is done. We went down to the M5 chart. We then have the overnight range. This line has already marked it for us. And so we know where the lines are. We know whatever everything's going on. Now we don't need to worry about anything. So we'll go to the M5 in it. Well, I have drawn my lines on the M1 chart. Yes, let's bring this chart to the start of the day as well. Here we go. So this is how the M5 chart looked like, and this is how the M1 chart was at that time. No, not the 7 o'clock. Let's move it forward to, let's change the time frame and move it to 8 o'clock. Are we there yet? Vertical line. Okay, let's go there. Here we go. Looks different to me. Okay, yeah, because it doesn't have the box. First move. Where am I? I don't feel like this is the chart I traded. Yeah, because I think on our platform there was a box here, right? Let me just look at it. Okay. No, it wasn't. Yeah, there was a box there. Yeah, I've just checked it. There was a box here printed on MT4. So that's why I went long here. Does it make sense? That I went long here and I stayed a bit too long. So, I mean, I could have had from 32 to 42, 10 pipper, but you know, I was bullish on it and I knew it's above the levels. So, before I forget, so we have the levels, but we already know that the market is strongly bullish. So we have the bullish bias, and we will look at the levels, what price does around those levels, and we can see that straight off first candle goes up. We had a box here, by the way, on MT4, so I went long, break even, and I posted that in the chat room if you remember, right? I said, oh, first entry, break even. And then what happens is that we have one candle down, and at that point I'm thinking, oh, we have a bullishness in the market, but there's a rejection as well. So let's see what it does. And the next thing, okay, somebody joined. Hello, John, new guy. So the next candle was, these two are seeds. John, could you mute yourself, please? It doesn't really look very exciting. around this time. But that's where the seed mechanism, you know, it gets you into a market before it moves. So if you went long on this seed, it was quite easy, you know, to catch this trade. But if you felt that this was too sideways, that's perfectly fine, because at this time you have a box level there, and that's what I was eyeing at that moment. So you have this pullback. Doug was already long. If you were not long from here, this was your long. And after that, there's no looking back. It just moved. It just, you know, those levels are nothing for it. It wasn't a support or resistance level for us. It's completely irrelevant. Delete them. Don't need them. Why? Because now we have momentum, volatility. That's all it's going to do. But let's see what it does. So between these two candles, you will find what we call the micro pullbacks. Not that, this level. Okay, so let's go to the 15-second chart. See, where has the line disappeared? Okay, 15-second chart. We have 808. Yeah, that's funny. So there's this price, and I think the guys on the 12-second chart were able to catch this S12, and I think that's how Doug caught it as well. So the 15-second chart is showing you a nice setup to tight box. You go long here, and all you had to do is just simply hold it or let it hit your 2 or 3 hour target, and it was going and going and going. And that's it. So when price starts to come down, by this time, you know that now it's pulling back. You can get out there. So that was a really, really strong move that you could have caught using this mechanism or the seed mechanism. I think this was a better mechanism. So if you, let's suppose you just trailed it or got out here on the red candle, then that was, well, it's insane, isn't it? A 1:7. So your stop loss, if it was based on this box, is at least 1:6 or 1:7 you got from this. But you could have got your 1:2 like within a minute, right? So today was a very, very strong day, and this is what we live for. And then we had the first pullback. So I was really keen to take this. Almost took this one. I didn't trigger. Then it went down. So we have this couple of dojis. I was really excited. I had the PO based on this candle here because it becomes very tight. So if we bring this risk reward type of thing up there, you will see that if you were to take a trade based on the range of the seed or this doji, you only needed price to go from here to that high, which is the highest probability trade, and you could get 2% profit. But obviously we know the market is strong. It probably will break that level. And then let's see what happens next. And bang, it goes up. So I wanted to have my entry based on this one, but it went too fast, and my entry was based on this stop loss. But it didn't go smoothly like this. On our broker, it gapped. It gapped from here to here. So I was triggered here, but even then, price went 20 points in my favor and I got 20. So instead of catching this from here to here, I was able to catch it from here on the gap going up. So let me just move this now. I was able to catch it there, and I got out there for a nice 4R on this one. Just a really beautiful trade. And then within this, these two candles, what I call the micro pullback. Let's put that cross here. Go to 15-second chart. You can see that. Hold on. The lines disappeared for some reason. So I'm also showing you at the same time, like, can you see this? This is that setup 1 or setup 2 pullback, which happened over here, this bit here. So let me just, I mean, this is the beauty of it. I just love this fractal geometry of this. You know, that pullback on 1 minute chart converts into a beautiful setup 1 on the 15-second chart. So when the markets are moving fast, those are the days to be on the 12-second or the 15-second chart. And just keep catching. So if you caught this, you have yourself 7 or 8%. Then you catch this, and you still don't have an exit signal. Instead, you have another pullback. So can you see the fractal geometry of this? On the 1 minute chart, over here you have this pullback. And then as you go to the 15-second chart, you can see similar pullback. So that means that a certain lower time frame, this again is a setup 1, or a pullback entry, or a bull flag pattern for price action people. And that starts another move. It didn't start right off, but then it went straight up after this. So there was a little bit of rejection here. So if you were watching 15-second chart, this probably would have scared you a little bit, but then it went up easily. And I was extremely bullish at this point. So when I got my entry here on the gap, and I got my 20, then I got in here again on this micro pullback, and this time I went with all the profit that I had made from this entry, and this entry. So I wanted to risk half of that. So I was already up around 6% on these two moves, so I risked 3% on this. And this went up, and I took 40 points. And that took me up, above 15% for the day. These two, so trade 1, then 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's it. We were done. So now I would like to listen to the story of Doug. Let's see what Doug has to say. Are you listening? Is he even there? Doug is not there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was pressing the wrong button, so that doesn't help. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I'm just going to bring your picture on. Well, members can also share their screens, but let's see. I'm just going to bring this here. So I'm looking at your trade that you have shared. The one 1014 cherry trade.
Cherry trade, yeah.
So were you on the 12-second chart and you caught setup 1, or did you really use the water indicator?
I did it all off the M1. Yeah. I'm moving away from the S12.
Brilliant.
To be honest with you.
Brilliant. And what is the main reason you are going away from S12?
Just more relaxing on the M1, and all the candles looked very dramatic on the S12, whereas they were a lot calmer on the M1.
And
it's an easier, once you get used to seeing it, it's easier to follow.
Yeah. So what about all the setups that you will miss on the 12-second chart? How are you going to catch those?
I'm not gonna.
Because you have the H2O, the Hunt 2.0 indicators.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm potentially, you don't really need to take that many trades in a week to do well out of it, and I'm taking too many on the S12.
Yes. And today you took this seed right at the beginning, and then you took the cherry, and there was no thinking behind this because these are indicators, right? Yeah,
that's it. I just waited for it to break the previous high, waited for a pullback, waited for the indication, and took the trade.
Yeah, I think
Sometimes.
the 1014, you know, that cherry that you've taken, this is the pinnacle, like the best
Yeah,
entry.
yeah,
So
without a doubt.
how much
The other one was risky.
how much profit today in percentage?
8%, 6 hour and 8%, percentage, 8%.
8% is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, as well. It's all you need for a week.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
definitely.
got
For a
8%
month,
in
I
a
would
week,
say 8% is good for a
yeah,
month.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but if you got 8% a week, that's more than enough, mate.
Yeah,
More than enough.
no, it's more
And
than.
that's my thinking about doing less trades. But when we've got the situation, I mean, really, the one I would have been most confident to take was the 1014.
Yeah,
Was a bit
yeah,
nervous
because
on the
it
other
was
one.
obvious, clear, no levels to the
Yeah,
left, strong move,
no
everything is
levels.
proven.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah,
And market
that was it.
usually tries, you know, when there's a pullback, even if isn't a strong follow through, in most cases it will retest the box high, and by that time you'll
Yeah,
break even.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
But
even the initial trade. I mean, there was enough room to get to the top of the box.
yeah, to get to the top of that, that's what really makes it a really good setup, because there's enough pullback, and by the time it goes to the top of the box, which is the problem area, you're already break even. So if it was to go and kind of pull back from there, you wouldn't have a chance to you'd have plenty of chance to actually move your stop loss to break even,
Yeah,
and you won't lose on this, which is the most important
that
thing. We don't want to lose.
that's why I took the other one later on, where you said that I'll never succeed. Well, you didn't say never succeed, but you suspect a break even. I just thought, if I could get to the top of the box, break even, or if it backed up on me by half an hour, I'm out of it. I was just risking half a percent to see what was going to happen. As it happened, it would have gone to 2 hour if I'd stayed in it,
Yes.
but I didn't.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah, it's good. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant system.
I can see Sam also took similar kind of trades, but I think he took it where your seed was, and his picture is based on the 12-second chart. So he's also taking
Right.
some beautiful. I think the picture is there. I've got it on the screen right now, but you probably don't see it.
I can't say it.
Yeah, I'm recording it. So that was that, and now let's check with Esther. I think she posted her chart as well, didn't she?
No, today I didn't post.
I
Actually, I only took the seed because this pullback cherry didn't show
uh-huh.
on my demo account. I don't know why, but on this account, somehow, the M1 hunt cherries just don't show up, so I didn't recognize it, I can say. So I took the seed after it.
All right. So you took the seed. What time you talking about?
Wait a second, let me check. That was 10:16 on my chart. So after the cherry.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes.
Pullback.
Yeah. That is. I can see that right now. The 1016 seed. Let me bring it on. Okay.
Yeah, and I had a quick question on that. Can you call that a waltz because it's on the M1?
I was just about to say this, that this was the waltz. No. Good question. I was actually just about to say that, you've traded the waltz, and I wanted to mention that when, the Doug's, your screenshot that you have shared earlier, I'm going to bring it up again. I was looking at it, your screenshot, and so you've taken the 1014 cherry, and you did mention it, but because you were still in that trade when the waltz seed happened, 1016, you could have taken it, but you were already in a very good trade, so that's why you did not take it. Yeah. And Esther couldn't see the cherry or the seed, or probably in her feed it gapped as well, like it has on mine. So she took the 1016 seed, and you probably took 2R from it?
To be honest, I am a little bit angry with myself because I got out after 1 hour, assuming that it has already gone up so much that it will not.
That's
so
fine.
This is a DS0 for me in my journal, because this is right. This is what I am working on now, to
Yeah.
stay in for longer. So the entry was good, but I am not satisfied with my trade management.
That's all right. You know, it will happen, but yeah, obviously, you can't call it that it's all right, and I'm going to be doing it all the time. I know that the entry was, you know, it had moved quite a lot, about 100 points and stuff. And the worst thing you want to see is your 1 hour turn into a 0 hour. So there's always this little difficult decision to make. Shall I let it run, or should I do it? But I think if you carry on with it the way you're doing it, you will, you know, there will always be times if you are manually exiting, and that's what we're doing with trading. You know, we are not robots. This cannot be coded. This strategy, or you know, this kind of trading cannot be coded into a robotic thing. It just doesn't work. People have tried. So, which is why when you take your entries, there will always be that performance issue. You know, you'll have to manage your emotions and manage your psyche and all that, and analyze at that time how the market is moving. So I'm looking at the MT4 chart right now, and I can see that the market was, you know, the first 18 minutes was completely really, really strong move. And if you look at the chart, this first 18 minutes, it's just green, 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 and then a few reds, dojis, and then green, green, green. So I think the easiest way to remedy that feeling that you're talking about is to, you know, you have to just settle with 2R to begin with. And as you keep doing that, the market will constantly keep hitting your 2Rs, and then there will be times when you would think, oh my God, 2R was too early an entry. I could have taken 7, 8, 9R on this. And then you'll begin to start start messing with it a little bit, and you'll begin to hit some bigger ones as well, at the expense of sometime actually giving back some of your 2Rs. So as long as you are aware that once your 2R up, you should never let it go below your 1R. You know, in an attempt to cash 3R, you don't want to end up with a break even. But even with this method, if you just keep going with 2R and 2R and 2R, the profit factor is still going to be 1.5. So that's pretty good. It was a good day. So is that the only trade you've taken?
Yeah, because I decided to focus on M1 now, because on S12 I overtraded. So
Yes.
this is the only thing I could see.
If you see,
So, and yes?
yeah, carry on.
To be honest, I have been trading quite well since Monday, so very conservatively, and I can see now, let's say, better setups, and I'm focusing on seeds, for example. So I am trying to now do some clean trading, so just sticking to my rules and like candle patterns, so, and on M1.
Right.
So this brings better results.
Yeah.
Like I am up 4 hours since Monday.
Pretty good.
So I am happy, and now I am now trying to be more conservative, and I'd rather miss some moves, but this is batch 4 for me in my T20, and I want to have a really good batch this time.
That's very nice. Yeah.
So with better trades and more quality trades and less quantity, maybe.
That's exactly what Doug was saying as well. You don't need to trade that many. You don't need to take that many trades, because we're in it for the breakouts and momentums. You know, when you already see a market that is, you know, like last few days in November mostly, we've seen markets stayed within range quite a lot, and that was due to this. I'm looking at the daily chart with all these levels. I'm going to delete all these levels. So when the market after the 9th of November, it kind of lost that power and it was going sideways. One day was red, another green, red and green and red and green, and the range was quite tight. See, if you look at the last two candles, they are far bigger than any candles to the left. So there was like 3 weeks of relatively low volatility period on DAX. And if that happens, you'll take small winners or small losers here and there, that's fine. But what we want to actually catch is days like these. And days like these, you catch them right at the London Open. You allow it to just clear those levels to the left like we did today. So even if somebody did not take this trade, this one here, because they were on M1, that's perfectly fine, because you have a reason to believe that, look, I have one bullish candle, but I need price to actually break the high of this. So my entry, ideal entry, was above this. And then obviously I know how to trade the in between the candles as well. So I can take a trade here, but even that is not necessary. So that's your low bot here. But originally your low bot was here, but that's your second low bot here because it's still within the 15 minutes. Low bot is for 15 minutes only. And then you take your trade here. If you don't take it there, you take it here. The first beautiful pullback. That is the creme de la creme. This is our most beautiful signal. The cherry. This was the perfect cherry, by the way. You have the two dark candles, and you have the 5 candle pullback and a cherry with the tail poking out. You go long here, and if you go and just trail the candles, this was a pretty good trade. So that's what we're after. And the reason we trade this setup, as we all know, is because we love setup 1. We know that setup 1 is the most beautiful setup. And so this setup actually converts into the setup 1 on a lower time frame converts into this pullback setup, which we call the hunt method. So you wait for the volatility breakout and then the pullback, and at least the first pullback you always want to take. So that's beautiful. And then because you didn't take this, you used our other method, which is the waltz method, and the waltz is a 2-bar pattern where you have a trend candle followed by an inside candle or a doji. This is also a very powerful setup. This is a 10x pattern. So when you see this, I know that if you see something like this, and now I'm coming to MH question as well, the H1 M5. This pattern I originally found on the hourly chart. So when you have a trend candle, let's suppose this is an H1 candle. I'm going to go to H1 charts. It is followed by a seed candle here. This is a 10 or 20x pattern. Is that a certain lower time frame, this trend candle would convert itself into a wave 3, and the seed candle will convert itself into a sideways wave 4. So waltz pattern is really beautiful. It's Jazz's favorite. I think she trades it on the daily chart. Towards the start of 2019, I used to do a daily. I used to have this Google Sheets, and I shared it with everyone, is that we will look for trend candles, and then we will wait for a doji or a inside candle, and then we will take a trade after it on the third day. And this pattern, the reason I'm talking about is fractal geometry. If a pattern works on one time frame, it must work on all the other time frames as well. Otherwise, the pattern is flawed. So this pattern works.
Have you ever come across an indicator that will tell you when there's a trend candle?
Steve coded an indicator for us for the trend candle, okay. But I didn't pursue it later because I still believe that it's a thing that you can eye. You have to see it. So if I'm going to go to...
Or you could maybe throw it onto like 8 charts, sort of that you're not watching. So, maybe is it the Forex?
Yeah, I have. I mean, when Steve created it, it did the job. So basically, you... Like if you were to look, use it on TradingView or search or create a scanner for it, this would be a relative high volume or a high ATR for Forex.
Yeah.
That particular candle will have, let's say, double or triple of ATR, a range from its preceding candle. So let's suppose this one would be triggered as the trend candle, followed by another bullish candle, and then 2 sideways candles. This also, so this is a 4 candle waltz pattern, this one, the one that we talked about earlier. There was a waltz pattern yesterday on this, so let me just change my template. Can you see this? Price, very, very strong candle, and then 3 candles. So this seed today, oh goodness, this is a strategy of its own. You know, one can grab easy 10-15% profit on this, trading only 4 markets. I have a proof of that. If you took that trade yesterday and you stayed in it, you're up 16.69, or let's say 17R. So if your risk was 1%, you're 17% up without doing anything. That's without adding on. It's a really beautiful.
Question here.
Yeah.
How do you manage these trades on H1? Because do you, for example, set your SL to break even when it moves 1 hour in your favor?
Yes.
Or you just leave it like that?
No, the seed strategy that we're talking about relies on. So the strategy, I'll explain it to you. It's very simple. You want to have 4 charts: euro dollar, pound dollar, pound yen probably as well, and the dollar yen, right? Or you can use an index with it as well. Let's suppose you're using DAX, because anyway, that's a different thing. So what you do is that you have you would take longs if it goes above the open line, longs only, and shorts only if it goes below the open line. And so you're looking for those really tiny seeds that happen after a trend candle. So you have a trend candle, like yesterday we had this. Let me actually move back to the other. And you found the seed candle now. Now, you need to have a good trade management. You know, every strategy relies on a good risk and trade management plan. The trade management plan for this type of, for this method that works the best is that what we do is that I split my position in 2. I have 0.5%. So I have scripts in my MT4. When I click it once, it sets 2 orders. So one is, it would take the range of this seed, which would be very, very tight. So it will calculate my lot size based on this very tight range. So I will get the heaviest lot sizes, right? So it will be split in half. One will have a target point of 1R, and the other one will have a target point of 10R automatically. And then I just let it run. So if the price goes 1R in my favor, automatically I will go out 0.5%. But then I don't move my stop loss to break even. Why? Because I'm relying on a technical break-even method, which is that if it goes 1R in my favor and I close half, which is half my trade, and I leave my stop loss at the original, if price was to come back and hit my stop loss, I will lose -5. So I have plus -5. No, plus -5. I have plus 0.5, and then I have minus 0.5. So it's a technical break-even. Why do I do that? Is because those seed candles usually appear inside sideways, and sometimes they fake out, and so I want the market to have a little bit of room to breathe, and this actually smooths the it smooths the equity curve. You can go with without going, closing half. That I do sometime as well. Sometimes I would just go with one position, and if it strongly breaks, for example, if this was a seed and it breaks strongly, then instead of exiting at 1R, I will exit probably with I will close half all the way 8 or 9R. So that way my profitability overall will be even more. So the thing about this is, this strategy, it relies on big winners. You need to have at least 1:5 winners, and it can give you 1:5 winners easy. And because it can give you 1:5 winners based on the wisdom of the greatest trader, Paul Tudor Jones, Tudor Jones. I can't pronounce that. With any strategy with a potential of 1:5, where you risk $1, you can make 5. You could be 80% wrong and still not lose money. And obviously, if you trade this strategy, you won't be 80% wrong. You will be probably 50% wrong. But you will consistently grab 1:5, 1:10, 1:15. I have seen people get 1 to 125 trade, like one trade that doubled their account. But that's a very long game. That depends on, like, catching a trade where you catch one signal here, you turn it into what we call a free trade. As soon as it hits half an hour, it's a free trade. Then you let it run, the psychological, free mindset zone. And then as it keeps going every day, you keep adding 1 or 2 to it. As soon as your one trade is free, then the next day, suppose there was another seed here, you took that, and then it keeps going on, and then you convert that trade. So for example, if you were somewhere here, right? Actually, let me just go there. This is the date 2nd of November. So I'm going to go to the hourly chart. I'm going to go to 2nd of November. Let's see if it takes me there. Okay, we are there. Here we are. Let's mark this. So suppose you took this trade here, this seed, and around this time you've converted into a free trade, and then you thought, okay, I'm gonna let this run on a daily chart. Just imagine that. And you would let it run, say you'll follow a certain moving average. Now check this. Check this. Even though on this occasion we have a very big seed, you can grab seeds that are like really small, and you're letting it run. This is actually a massive seed. I didn't check at all. Oh yeah. So yeah, well, there you go. This is a very massive seed, and you still 1:12 on this. But as you know, if you took yesterday's seed, you are 1:16 on an hourly chart. So you can find seeds that are like 10, 15 points, and then the market. We know that DAX moves 150, 250 in a day. If you were to take, and we know that it can create seeds on the hourly chart that are as small as this, very small. So it has the potential to create very small seeds, and it has the potential to move 200 and 300 points in a couple of days, which makes it a perfect candidate for this strategy. Yep. That's a long answer.
Yeah, but it was very useful. Thank you.
You are welcome. This is a strategy of its own. I mean, I recommend this wholeheartedly. I first found this strategy back in 2008. It is one of the most powerful strategy I've ever seen.
Yes, I like it a lot. I think recently I have realized how good it is. So I would like to trade this.
Yeah, the risk reward is fantastic. And every time you take it, you know that this is a pattern that exists on every time frame, every market, everything. Anyway, Hemech, your question.
Yeah. Can you explain it again about how to take M1 setups on H1?
Okay, was it about the M1 H1 or was it the H1 M5?
M1 H1.
Right. Let's find something. So, I'm still long on this. Basically, the H1 M1 is exactly the same concept of volts. So you want to see a very strong candle like so, and I think yesterday this was on my radar, and it's that same concept of the micro pullback between the two candles. So I'm going to try to find this. So when you see a strong bullish candle on your hourly chart and it's already trending in that direction, so you have already established what is the trend. Now you've established what is the momentum as well and direction. So for example, in this case here, when it broke out, went sideways, this would be my example of finding H1M5 setup. So let me just have a look at H1M5. So I want a couple of trend candles followed by a couple of pause candles. That's the H1M5 answer. This will create, so when you have a couple of trend candles and then a couple of sideways candles on the hourly, they will convert into this beautiful pattern of 3 and 4. This similar thing can happen between the two H1 candles, the two trend H1 candles. So if I go to the H1 here, now I haven't, this is not the one that I've actually found, but I'll see if it was there. This is a candidate for it. So you have a strong bullish outside candle, right? And it has broken this box as well. There's a possibility that if you were to drop to M1 around that time, you would find a setup 1. And it's all to do with this trend candle. It was here. H1. Why is it doing this to me? So the 16, okay, I got it. Here we go. So even this is a pretty good example of it. If you look at it, I saw the trend candle on H1 here. It should have been actually here. Right. Oh, it messed up. And that's what it does sometimes. Whoopsie. Let's just delete that. Okay, let's go back. Go there. So you saw a trend candle here. And now you want to drop to the M1. You drop to the M1. And now you want to wait for, the pullback. You're waiting for the pullback. You're waiting for the cross of zero line. It crossed the zero line. It wasn't really a sideways wave 4, but it has given you a 3 and 4 sort of a setup. But because it moved really strongly up, probably not a very clear setup 1. But this was one example that most probably you wouldn't take because it wasn't a clear setup 1. And I think that is why I didn't take it. So let me find another example for you. Maybe this one was a setup 1. So let's go there. I would definitely be looking for this strategy when I see a candle like this. When I see a candle like this that breaks out of the range, and if I'm not in it and I want to be cute with my entry, I'll go to the M1. See, that's that time. And then I will wait if it gives me a setup 1. See here, go sideways. This is almost a setup 1 now. Now it's even prettier. That's it, I'm going long here. But of course on this occasion it didn't work. So you'll go long. You're long there. You probably have your stop loss already break even, or you got out break even, or you're trailing the box, and that's it. So this was your setup on this. You went long here and got out here. In this occasion it did not work, but if a trend candle, and this is the stats behind it. So next I'm gonna go to this one. If there is a trend candle, there's a very high probability that it will be followed by another trend candle. So if you run a really thorough statistical analysis, which we have done, is that there's almost an 80% chance that when there's a breakout trend candle like this one, it is followed by another similar or stronger trend candle, which did not happen on this occasion. But if you go with that mindset, the one that I'm telling you right now, see this one, range, breakout trend candle, usually followed by another trend candle. Breakout trend candle, usually followed by another one. Breakout trend candle, usually followed by another one. Breakout trend candle, usually followed by another one. So if I bring this here, and let's go to that chart. This is going to be interesting. Okay, it doesn't want to play. I will do this now. Drop there. We have a breakout trend candle. Go to the M1. M1 is a strong wave 3. Now let's wait for wave 4. It's going sideways. Not quite a setup 1, but already broke out on setup 2. And that's it. You got your 2R already. Then you have a pullback and it carries on. So let's go to another example. The ones that I actually like. This was not the best examples because the trend candle is not very strong. This is going to be certainly a very interesting and beautiful one. Let's go to that one. So I'm going to go to, so as you can see, it's already a setup 1 on this, but then you have this range. Trend candle breaks out, closes outside of the box. You can take this trade on its own, like make your entry here and have your stop loss somewhere there, or you can be cute with your entry. Go to the M1. You have a strong wave 3. Let's wait for a little pullback to create a wave 4. We already have a pullback. We have the green touching the red, and AO is close to 0 line. This is already a contender for a trade. And boom, you have an entry here. And this entry, if you just follow the green line, suppose this, I'm just clicking, 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 look at that. So you got yourself a pretty good trade. And you won't have to be in this trade all day, just 1 minute. So beautiful setup 1s with 80% success rate without actually watching 8 different M1 charts. No, just 4 or 5 or 8 pairs. Even 4 is enough. You know, GU, GJ, maybe EJ, UJ, and EU. Just go with that and wait for these trend candle breakouts. Either trade them on this own, or you can apply this. So that's the mechanism. It's the same pattern. The micro pullback of the H1 will convert into H1 M1 setup 1. So I hope this covers it. Does it make sense?
Yes, thank you. So for H1 M5, you came to M5 and take it and didn't take it from H1, isn't it?
For the H1 M5, the pattern is that you usually look for 2 trend candles, or at least 1 trend candles, but you will probably have to wait for 2 pause bars. See, over here, this is also an example. You have 2 trend candles followed by a seed. This will create a beautiful setup on the lower time frame.
And my question is that how do you enter the position in H1 M5 or H1
Oh,
M1?
so when you're talking about H1, and this is how I put it, when you're on the left before the slash, let me actually write it the way I write it. You know, when I write it like this, H1 M1, H1 M5, H1 M15. Whenever I write this, it would mean H1 is equal to trend or higher time frame, right? And M1, in this case, M1 will be your trading time frame. So when I write H1 M1, that means that the trend, or the higher time frame information is my hourly chart. I will drop from there to the M1, and because M1 is my trading time frame, my risk and trade management will be also on the 1 minute chart. So once I have dropped from H1 to once I've dropped from H1 to M1, then the trade and risk management will be based on M1. Similar for H1, M5. So if I found a setup on H1 and I drop to M5, then I will do my risk management, which is, the box level and stuff, and the 2-hour target based on the pattern that I see on the M5 chart. It's going to be a setup one. So if I were to go to M5 on this one, and if I'm going to trade it here, obviously then H1 has got nothing to do with this at this point. I'm going to take my trade based on this, and I'm going to find my 2R wherever it is. In this case, I would be very happy with catching a 1.5 R because this is the highest probability trade. So if I took this trade and went in my favor, that's it. I've got my 1.5 R on this, and I'm done with this trade. Or if I was just following the target zone 1, then I would do that. Where would my target zone 1 be? Let's find out. Start from where the start of 3 is. This is my 4. If that's my target zone 1, then I will have my target set at 2.9 R. And let's see if it's hit. Yes, that's hit as well. So this is the way to do it. Or if you wanted to take the trade on the hourly chart itself, then what setup are you using? The question would be, what is the setup you're using? And that's why I dropped to the M5. So if I drop to the M5 and I took this, I have the mechanism of taking the setup 1. I know where to calculate my risk. I know where to have my stop loss, and I know where to have my target point. But if I was to take this trade on the hourly chart, then where would I exit? What would be my setup? That does not exist. Then the only thing that I could do is I'm going to take a seed. So in seed, I would have to take my entry here. And because the high is up there, then my stop loss will be there. And then I'll be looking for a 2R trade here. And I think it did not give me 2R. Or almost, probably did. It probably did 2R on this as well. So that's another way of doing it. So if you want to find a setup and take it on the hourly becomes your trading time frame, then you have to use mechanism to extract profit using those mechanism there. Like for example, on this day, I remember very well the other day, I took the trade not on the M1 because this itself was a setup 1. I just took a setup 1 here. And then I took this M5 trade as well because this was a strong move. So, I got out with 2R quickly. So then I had the margin available again. So I traded again one more time on M5. So this was a beautiful trade. So the M5 and M1 are really intraday, short-term trades. But the hourly has this thing, like that I took a trade yesterday. One was over here based on the setup 1, and the other one is based on this seed. So the seed has its own mechanism, its own. I want my seeds to actually grow into trees. That's the whole concept. I don't want my seed to be cut 2 or 3 feet plant, a little small bush. No, I want my seed to grow into trees. So that's why when I took this trade yesterday, my target was hit as 1.351, and the reason I had that target was because of these levels to the left. So this one was hit over here. So when I went long on setup 1 here, that target was based on this level. But for the seed, because it was a free trade, I had already taken 0.5% profit at this level. I gave it a bigger target later on. So when I was telling you I'm still long on GU, and then I said, oh, that's a lie because I'm not long anymore. Because I hit my target point, it was this candle that hit it. So that was a pretty good profit. This strategy here, the seed one alone, as I've shown you that my FX book page, this can give you 10% a month. Just trading EU, GU, and UJ. Just 3 pairs. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Very useful for me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for joining. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone. It's been lovely talking to you, man. Such a beautiful day today. And what makes me even happier is that, Doug, you caught yourself a beautiful couple of trades, 3 trades, really nice. Because, you know, I worked with you. You worked hard on yourself over the last year. This whole year, you worked really hard. So towards the end of it, to see you catch trades like this really makes me happy. And
you've got to have days like this, though, to understand, to get a better understanding.
Definitely, yeah. And it gives you, like, you want to wait for days like these. They will happen, you know. And it's worth waiting for this instead of trying to trade the 50-point range or a 30-point range chart. That if a chart doesn't move, it doesn't move. It doesn't help. It doesn't give you anything. It's like you need somebody to throw the ball at you, right? If you're playing a ball game, you need somebody to throw the ball at you. If there's nobody throwing the ball, there's no fun. So.
You've been doing this a long time. Would you say on average, you get a day like this a week, or is it once? Not like this, but a day where you get a trend. How many times a week would you say that?
Yeah, I think that a day like this kind of happens 2 or 3 times a month. But the good days, where it moves at least 150, 200 pips, it's at least once a week. At least once a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just be patient.
So, yeah, that's what my plan is. Like every week, I'm like, okay, are we going to have that day today? Because look, if we go to the daily chart, right? Let's quickly go. If you look at these candles, every now and then you will see this candle visible to you. Like, look at this. This candle, this candle, this candle, this one, right? Yeah. And then in between you see those dojis, which is very typical of the market. Even on M1, you'll have these trend candles, dojis, trend candles, reversal candles. They will all happen, and they happen on the daily chart as well. So if you look at it, today's candle is not even as big as yesterday's. And yesterday was a strong day. The day before was not really a strong day, but a very high range. So when the range is high, you will get longs and shorts on that day. And you have a strong candle here, you have a strong candle here. And look at this candle. Look, a strong range. So on this day, you could have some trades going, shorts during the morning session, and then afternoon it kind of goes back up. So yeah, all you have to do is look at a daily chart. Yeah. You look at a daily chart and count how many trend candles you got. So you will find that, like, this is about, I think, 150 candles or something, or probably this. And within them, more than 30% of them are trend candles, especially this year. And that means that inside these candles, you will get those plenty of beautiful moves inside. So yeah, they do happen quite a lot. Anyway, see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you for joining me. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you.